What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall markets. I'm also going to break down why we're going to be looking for some very interesting volatility very soon as we have big data coming out. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon in just 12 hours. Anyways, as far as NIO goes, we're waiting for deliveries. NIO is going to be tweeting what their numbers look like for Q4 of 2024 and the entire year. We're expecting 72 to 75,000 deliveries in Q4. That's going to be very, very big. Looking at the numbers, we actually did over 20,000 in both October and November. So we're expecting a 30,000 delivery month for the month of December. Let's hope that NIO achieves those numbers. That could really help the share price. With their Envo L60 coming out and the sales looking very strong, I hope the numbers look quite good for them. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Now, as far as the market goes, the overall stock market has been a little bit more in the red and kind of flat, at least just to start things off. We're not really expecting anything too crazy, but just know that the market is still showing weakness despite how we're looking approaching the year. Going into 2025, just know that the US is preparing for potentially higher inflation as a possibility. The Fed has announced that they are not planning on cutting as much as they initially did. So that's not the best of news. And that's part of why the market's a little bit weak approaching this year. There was also some profit taking and tax harvesting that played a big role. So that's why the market sold off quite a bit. Now, heading into the year, there's going to be a lot of turmoil. There's going to be a lot of difficulties out there, at least for the markets, just to start things off. And we'll see if things improve or not, at least from this point on. I also want to mention that when it comes to earnings, right now, there's nothing coming out for the week. It's all very, very quiet. So what do I see, at least moving forward? What do I think is going to pan out? In all honesty, starting off with NIO, we're going to be looking for how deliveries end up looking. This may cause a big temporary move, and I do agree with the claims about how profitability is what matters more. And I agree with that. Yeah, that's going to be a lot bigger for the long term. But for the short term, there could still be a big move because of deliveries. If deliveries are lackluster and NIO does not meet their goal of 72 to 75,000 deliveries, we could be looking for a rug pull, and this could be dipping back down to fill this gap around 4.31, eventually dipping to the low fours, especially if we have the gap to fill down around 3.94. But if this is truly a double bottom, this kind of looks like what we call a big George W. People call it that. That's just a very, very colloquial term that we use, but it doesn't matter. This looks like a big George W. This could be like our, double bottom, and that could lead to a big bounce if they do very, very well with deliveries. So I'm hoping that NIO kills it with deliveries. I hope we get a big bounce in the share price to fill the gap in the fives, and that would be very, very nice to see. We'll see if that ends up being the case or not. So just keep that in mind. For other factors out there, we have Tesla. Okay. Tesla also has its deliveries coming out. Tesla's going to be looking for either a pushback up towards the 440 area or a massive rug pull back down to about 380, then eventually 363. So we'll see how things end up going for them, but just know that technically we are a little bit weak. Deliveries come out for Tesla on Thursday at 2 o'clock, or not 2 o'clock, Thursday, January 2nd at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes they are a little bit late, but I just want to say that the data does almost always come out on the second day of the month, so it will be coming out on Thursday. We just don't know the time for sure. It's most likely going to be 9 o'clock a.m., but sometimes it's a little bit later. So we'll see about that. SPY has this head and shoulders that's still present. We were not able to reclaim 592, so it still looks bearish. Might be a bounce to start off the year, but then there's that risk of us eventually dipping back down to like 580 if we lose 585. So technically, we are still more bearish. Same thing with ES. There's a head and shoulders. We were not able to lose 59.20. If we lose that, there's going to be a bigger move right back down, but we haven't really seen that yet, so just keep that in mind. So with that being said, that's how things are looking with this head and shoulders. For other factors out there, we have stocks such as Nvda. Nvda has an inverse cup and handle, and if we can't hold above the 136 area, there's going to be a dip coming to about the 132s. So just be very, very careful as time goes on. I will be watching to see how things end up developing. For Bitcoin is on a bit of a downtrend. We'll have to see if we can try to hold above 95,000 plus. Otherwise, there's going to be a risk of us dipping to about the 92,000 area or below. So watch to see if that ends up being the case. For NQ, we're making lower highs right over here. So we could be dipping lower towards 21,100. If that fails us, we're going to be dumping a lot more. We'll have to see if we can hold support, but I do anticipate some downside as a stronger possibility. For the QQQ, there's also a bit of a downtrend here. We'll have to see if we can hold 511 or not. If not, we're looking for a move back down to 507. So just keep that in mind. For Aapl Apple's on a bit of a downtrend as well. We'll have to see if we could hold 250. If not, there's going to be a risk of us dipping to about 248 or below. For now, there's some weakness. There may be some buyers to try to bring it back up to 252 to start things off, but we need to get back above 254 to turn. Otherwise, there's still that risk of downside. Palantir is looking a little bit weaker. We might be coming down to full imbalance if we can't hold above 75. That would take us down towards like 72.5. So just be careful in case we get that rejection. For the Russell, we're on a bit of a downtrend here. There's possibly a head and shoulders here. We have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. So right here is left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. If we can't hold above 222, we're going to likely be dipping back down to 220 or below. So keep that in mind. Coin is on a bit of a downtrend. We have to see if we can get back above 262. Otherwise, we favor 245 and also those lower levels. For Amazon, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We have kind of like a head and shoulders here. This could be looking for a dip back down to 218 or below, or 217.5 as well. So watch and see if that ends up being the case. Meta has an inverse cup and handle. If we can't get back above, 583, this is also going to be favoring downside. Might dip a little bit more here. We'll see if buyers defend 583 to get us back to 590. But if we don't hold that, there's still that risk of more downside. Microsoft also is looking weaker. It could be dipping to about 420 or below. Google as well has a head and shoulders right here. Needs to get back above 195. Otherwise, at the very least, this left shoulder, head, and right shoulder may pan out, leading to some downside towards like 185. The VIX looks like it could break out more looking at the 4 hours. We'll just have to see if that ends up being the case. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. As far as NIO goes, just know that, technically this is on a bit of a downtrend. But with the double bottom that could be forming, when you look at the 4 hour, that could lead to a lot more upside. So we'll see if we get that bounce on NIO looking at the way that the share price is developing. Zooming out, this is what the double bottom looks like, a giant like W that could be forming. I hope we get a bounce thanks to deliveries, bring us back at least to about 4.8 to $5. That would be nice to see or above, but we'll see just to be safe how the numbers end up looking. With that being said, guys, just know that today is going to be the last day of 2024, at least for people in the US like me. I think in Europe, or at least some parts of Europe, it's already like 2025 because we're behind, if anything, at least where I am. But for being in the US, I just want to say that 2025 is coming. So let's put the past behind us and look forward to the new year. I want to say that for the people out there who are going to be celebrating the new year, I wish you all a very, very happy new year. For those who are celebrating with their families and friends, please have a very, very awesome time and show your family gratitude, as this is a great time to just improve and grow. And then for those out there who are not going to be with their families, who are going to be alone, keep your heads up, guys. There's still hope. I just wish you guys lots of prosperity and happiness to really improve yourselves. Thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys for watching my videos. I hope to continue to do what I do going into next year. I hope that we see a lot of growth for NIO as a company. I hope you guys grow and improve your own selves. I hope that this is going to be a great year for prosperity and growth that's coming up. So I wish you guys a very, very prosperous and happy 2025. Thank you so much for listening to my videos. Have a very, very happy new year, and I'll be back very soon. I'm not sure if I'll upload my video on Wednesday or Thursday. I'll see because of the new year, but I'll be back soon within a day or two anyways, just to give you guys more updates. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a very happy new year, and peace out.